Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Arcus and today we'll be talking about how to manage your time efficiently. So New Year's Eve was just around the corner and I'm sure a lot of you made New Year's Eve resolutions, perhaps ones that included wanting to draw more, maybe drawing every day or big drawing per month, or I don't know, something art related since this is an art channel. But as we often see, people make resolutions and then they don't follow through with them. And oftentimes this does come down to not feeling like you have enough time. Although I'm going to try to show you today that there is time and you can find it. So first I'm going to talk about kind of my journey when it came to time management, why I'm choosing this specific topic, and then I'm going to offer 5 different solutions that have helped me and might help you as well when it comes to this specific problem. So for the vast majority of my life, I wasn't very happy with how I managed my time because I am so I'm currently in college, as you might have been able to pick up from my other videos where I've mentioned it, and I go to a pretty good school and I did really well in school during high school and middle school and all that time, but to do so well, I was only able to because I put time into working towards it, especially in high school. It did not come as easily to me as it did to some of my peers. And unfortunately, because I spent so much time doing stuff for school, whether it was studying or after school activities, etc., I felt like I did not have time to do what I wanted to do for myself, which was in this case, draw. So I had to find ways to manage my time to be able to get everything done, as well as just not procrastinate, because I know that's a big problem and I was unhappy with myself that I was procrastinating, so I chose to try to change it. Now, that willpower, that want to change, has to come innately from you. I can give you some ideas, and a lot of people can give you pointers in what you can implement, but in the end, the only one who can actually make sure that you're doing those things, and if you set deadlines, follow through with them, if you set goals, actually keep yourself accountable, the only one who can do that is yourself when it comes to things like art, which might just be a side hobby currently, but you're hoping to maybe make a career out of it or something. Unfortunately, the only one who's going to get you there is you. So if you're struggling to find the motivation, there's only 2 courses of action ahead of you. This is something that a wise person told me, and I've kept very near and dear to my heart for a long time. And it's probably what sparked me into motion as well. She told me, if you have something that's bothering you, there are only 2 courses of action. One is you choose to change it because you have the power to change it. And 2, you choose to accept it. And you don't do anything about it, but you don't just sit there and let it affect you. If you either can't change it or you can't seem to change your mindset about it, then you're just going to have to accept that that is the way things are. And if you're thinking, well, I'm not going to choose either because I don't want to accept that I don't have the time to draw, but I also am not keeping myself accountable to find the time to draw, unfortunately, you have made a decision, and that's a decision that's, in the end, not helpful. So what was able to kick me into shape and to make me start working towards my goals is knowing that the only one I'm hurting and the only one I'm helping is myself. It's a very selfish goal, it's a very selfish way of thinking, but the only way I'm gonna help is myself. So if I want to better myself, if I want to find the time to do the things I love, I have to do it. Now, it's hard at first, and these things that I'm gonna tell you to try out, it's hard to implement, but you'll see that this is like an exponential growth thing. At first, you're gonna do it maybe once a week, and the other days are gonna suck, and you can beat yourself up over it, but that's not gonna help either now, is it? So you gotta just take it at your own pace, do it when you can. Eventually you find that one day turns into 2 days, and then 2 days turns into half the week, and then half the week turns into the entire week, except some days, you still have off days. Well, you know what? That's okay. We're all like that. No one's perfect. Having an off day is fine, just come at it the next day even harder. But this only works if you want it, if you truly, truly want it. If you don't, you can keep making excuses, but you're never gonna get there. So now that we got all that heavy stuff out of the way, let's move on to techniques perhaps that will help you to get to your goals of drawing more frequently or whatever art-related goals there are. Now these can help you with more things than just art, but since I am an art-focused channel, I'm kind of just putting an emphasis on art, but y'all get my gist. So number one, first of all, draw what you want. Have fun with what you're drawing. When I started drawing and I discovered the internet and all the artists on the internet, I looked into, what can I do to improve? I want to be an artist with a big following. I want to do all these, amazing things with my art. And everything I was finding was draw like 8 hours a day. That's what the main feedback these artists had for younger artists and how to improve. And that freaked me out. Like I mentioned, was working for school, and I put that as a priority, and I could not at all find the time to even draw like an hour a day. And because I was thinking, I'm not even drawing this much, let alone 8 hours a day, I'm never ever gonna make it. I stressed myself out so much that I stopped drawing. That's a big no-no. You have to do it to a point where you are improving and you are challenging yourself, but you're having fun. Because in the end, if you're pushing yourself to a point where you just want to quit, then I don't think you're doing it right. So have fun. Draw what you want. Number 2 is set a goal. There are 2 types of goals. There are long-term goals and there are short-term goals. The long-term goals can be less specific because, especially in an art-related field, it's not such a clear-cut path how to get to the job you want. I mean, some people go to school for it, other people don't. And other people end up early on being a freelancer, and other people in their 40s or 50s, finally get into an art job. People's goals change, and that's fine as well. But since it's not always so clear, just kind of know where you're heading to, but kind of leave it looser. The short-term goals are more specific. These are deadlines you put for yourself. If you want to make one big painting every single month, that's a short-term goal. So you can work towards those, and those can be more specific. This leads us to number 3, which is make a calendar. Calendars are so helpful. Oh my god. Writing things down makes it so much more real than just saying it in your head. Plus, it helps you remember, because oftentimes, I have a lot of ideas or I have a lot of things going on and I just can't remember to do things. So I write things. I have a digital calendar, I have a physical calendar. I write my big events down. Those short-term goals, like, back to my example I used for the short-term goal where I said, if you want to paint a painting once a month. Well, on your calendar, you can mark by what date each month you want that painting to be done by, and then hold yourself to it, because again, the only person you're helping is yourself, and the only person you're hurting is also yourself. And if you have a bad month, like you're just starting out and something happens, you just can't make that deadline, you can give yourself a break. Again, we don't want to push yourself so hard that you stop, but you do have to push yourself and you have to keep yourself accountable. And this is all on you. I'm sorry, but there's no way around it. This leads to number 4, which is kind of related to number 3, which is making daily lists. So more than calendars, I make lists. I have lists again on my computer screen. I have lists on like Google Docs. I have lists on papers around me. I have planners. I have 2 planners. I have, if I don't have paper or like my planners around me or my computer near me, I write it on my hand. Because again, there's just so many things going on. You'll find that you're so busy with everything you have to do that it's easier to write it down, because then when you see it all written down, you can prioritize. And when it comes to these lists and tackling them day to day, honestly, usually people write down, or I write down way too much. I can't get through it all, but that's okay. You know, I don't give myself enough time to do all the things I put on my list, but as long as I get through the things that I absolutely need to that day, that's all right. And if that day I don't happen to get to drawing, that's okay too, because as long as I feel like, you know, I wasn't wasting time. And if there was a bad day, I'll just do better the next day. And with these lists, I also recommend kind of starting with small tasks because they give you the inertia to move on to bigger tasks. For example, if you want to start a drawing today, like a full-fledged illustration, maybe start by doing, 30-second gesture drawings, because that'll get your hand loosened up and that'll get you in the mindset to start thinking about drawing versus just sitting down on your computer and just staring at your blank canvas and going from there. You know, sometimes you have ideas, but other times if it's just you're trying to maintain your deadline or keep at your goals, it's harder. So having those like small tasks that get you going is the way to go. And then finally, number 5, work smarter, not harder. Everyone has a limited amount of time each day, so use that time to the best of your abilities. Take advantage of the little time you have. If you know that you have an hour a day where it's to yourself and you can do whatever you want, don't spend half an hour going through your social media or kind of aimlessly like sitting around. Use your time efficiently, even when doing other tasks in the day, because if you do those tasks more efficiently, then maybe you'll have more than an hour left at the end to work on what you truly want to do, which in this case is probably drawing. And there's something called the Pomodoro Technique, where they set a time for, I believe it's 25 minutes, and then you take a 5-minute break, and in those 25 minutes you're very, very focused. And this doesn't exactly work for me because I feel like those time intervals are way too short. I don't feel like I can get enough done. So if you feel the same way, then adjust it to what you need. For me, my time intervals are about 40 to 50 minutes, and then I take about a 10-minute break, and this works really well for me. I feel like I have enough time to get things done. I feel like I can be focused for just around that time. And in the end, I actually get a lot more done because I'm truly focused for those 40-50 minutes. You know, I throw my phone across the room and it's just me and my books or whatever. And at the end of that, because I use my time more efficiently when it came to the other things in my life, I am able to have more time at the end of the day to draw. That's just what's worked for me. All of these techniques are techniques I've implemented slowly in my life, and I didn't do them all at the beginning, but I had the motivation and I knew I wanted something to change, so I found what works for me. Now, these may not work the same for you, they might not be perfect for you, but it's somewhere to start and get you going. And remember, just start small. Don't feel guilty if you don't do as much as you thought you would. If you're really struggling with this, then you just need to go at your own pace. You'll get there eventually. I hope this was of some help to someone. Thanks for sticking around this long. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more or liked what you saw here today. And I'll see you in my next video. Thanks. Bye.